Next on the chopping block. What am I reading? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I cannot tell what the lighting's doing, so I apologize if it's rough. Today's video, we're gonna be going through everything I read this summer. In my opinion, as soon as August 1st hits, boom, summer's over, y'all. It is fall. Even though it's 90 degrees outside, I'm considering it fall, okay? So we're gonna literally start all the way from April, June, July, all of those books I read, guys. Now, I didn't get to read as many books as I was hoping to, partially because I was working 35 hours a week at work and then also doing 4 summer classes. 4 college summer classes, y'all. Y'all know how those things are. But yeah, I did still manage to get some reading in, and I want to go through every single book I read this summer. So let's go ahead and start with the books I read in April. The first book, y'all, I'm low-key a little bit scared to talk about it. I don't honestly know what provoked me to pick this book up. I just did. And I don't know. I have like mixed feelings on it. And that is A Little Life by Hanya. This is the last name. Y'all, I saw that this book was gonna make me cry, and I honestly did not read too much into what it was about other than that. And I went into Barnes & Noble and bought it one day and sat on my shelf for a while, but then I don't know what it got into me. Oh yeah, I was filming a reading sad books video, like reading sad books for a week, and so yeah, I read this one. This book was traumatic in every way I could say traumatic. Trauma upon trauma upon trauma. Yeah, I don't want to recommend this book just because the trigger warnings in it are like extreme. If y'all haven't heard about it, it follows these 4 college students as they go through like their entire life together. It's literally just like a character study, and the main character in particular, he had a horrific childhood, and I mean horrific to the most extreme. This boy went through everything you could possibly go through. Honestly, to a point, it was like a little bit unbelievable because I'm like, okay, how could he have gone through that much trauma? Like, it literally made me look at everyone in life so differently. Like, I had to take breaks with it whenever I was reading it because I found myself I would go out in public and I couldn't even look at people right. Like, I don't even know. Like, every single character he come across was just the most horrible person ever. And yeah, it follows themes of friendship. They live together in New York City, and yeah, I didn't end up writing this book just because honestly I don't know if it's a 5-star or a 0-star. This is like one of those books that's gonna live in my brain for the rest of time, I fear, and I don't know if I'm happy about it because yeah, it was traumatic. If you feel that you need to search up the trigger warnings, I probably would, just because they are just like the way everything is described out. It's very graphic, but I mean, I went in this book completely blind, and I don't even know if I'm glad that I did, honestly. But yeah, what a way to start the video out, guys. What a way. This book is super long too. Like, literally, this book took me forever to get through. It's like 800 pages, and the pages are like super thin, like a Bible. And look, it's like very small print too, so it was very long. But yeah, if you want to hear about my full in-depth opinion, I would definitely recommend going to watch my sad books video because I went in depth on this baby. In depth. And I'm quite proud of how that video turned out, so go show it some love. Okay, we're going to move on. The next book I read was this book by H.G. Carlton. This is Haunting Adeline, the first book in the little duology. Yet another interesting read, in my opinion. I was trying to figure out if I wanted to get into dark romance, and so I thought, you know, why don't I start with these? A very controversial dark romance book series, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just do it. And I did! This was questionable, to say the least. The main male character, he stalks her. Yeah. And somehow I fell for him? Like, what? Literally, so many things in this book will have you question your morals, but it's like not that deep, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it's just a little book. Like, everything that goes on in the book can be one thing, but like, it doesn't have to do with real life, you know what I mean? It's just a little book. That's how I'm kind of like, how I kind of see it. But yeah, this man, this man, Zaid Meadows, he's crazy. It is dual point of view. It follows her point of view, which is called the Shadow, and then his point of view, which is called the Manipulator. That's literally what he is. He literally manipulates her into falling for him. But why did I like it? Like, what? I don't know. Sometimes I like following books about the bad guy just so you can get like a view in their head. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, what did I give this? I literally gave this book 4 stars. Isn't that kind of crazy? I don't know. This is called the Cat and Mouse Duet. But yeah, after reading this, I definitely would be interested in reading more dark romances. It was just crazy. The next book that I read, I went into it fully not expecting to love it so much, but then whenever I actually read it, y'all, my mind was blown. This is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Pawson. I I ended up giving this book a 5 stars, y'all. This is literally a 5-star read for me. It is so freaking good. Yes. This book follows Clementine West. She lives in New York City, working as a book publicist, and for some reason, I'm trying to remember, she ends up taking over her aunt's apartment and living in her aunt's apartment for a little bit. Maybe to try and save money or something, I don't know. But this apartment is apparently a magical apartment. It teleports her back in time, where she comes across a man. She's so confused because she's like, who is this man in my apartment? And then she realizes over time that it was him living in the apartment in the past, and she teleported back in time to see him. Oh my gosh. Everything about this book was literally 5 stars. The way these two main characters stood up for each other, they were so just like there for each other through everything. They supported each other, and I don't know, just the themes of like right person, wrong time. It was crazy, but I loved it. It was so good. The main character, he's a chef, so there's like so many descriptions of food and everything he cooks. Like this man cooks for her. Hello. I love it when a man cooks because I hate cooking. But yeah, just like the descriptions of New York City and his cooking and the friends that they have and family trouble. That's a big theme in here as well. It just hits so hard, and it's like in my top books of the year. I literally love this book so much. Then we've got the very first thriller I've read all this year so far. Like I literally haven't read another thriller besides this one, and that is The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. Ooh! I fear Frida McFadden is a new favorite author of mine. Not like favorite author, but just in the fact that I really want to read more of her thrillers after reading this book. It was just so quick and easy to read. I read this in my 24-hour reading vlog. Yeah, I don't know, just like every chapter, it was so short, and each chapter ended with a cliffhanger. It just made you want to keep reading and keep reading this book. One thing about me is I love going through a book and trying to piece together what I think is gonna happen and be the main plot twist and all that kind of stuff. And with this book, I thought for a while that I knew what was gonna happen. I thought who is gonna be the main person of conflict, but boy was I wrong. I was completely shocked by this ending. My jaw was on the floor. You can see my reaction to that video too, but it was just crazy, y'all. It was crazy. Yeah, let me kind of try to describe this book a little bit. Sydney Shaw has bad luck with dating, so she goes on these dating apps. She's trying to find the perfect man, and apparently her new boyfriend may or may not be looking for the perfect victim. Yeah, and it goes back and forth between the present, following this main character, the girl, and then it goes to the past whenever the boyfriend, he was growing up in his childhood. And just to see inside his mind, I was like, bro, what is wrong with this dude? Hello. Now, don't get me wrong, a few parts of this book were a little cringe, especially like the beginning. I was like, what is this? It wasn't anything amazing, but I still really did enjoy it and get through it quickly, and I feel like it could be a good little palette cleanser. So I ended up giving it like a 3-star or maybe a 3.5. I think I give it a 3-star. I really enjoyed it. Next, we've got a book that I don't actually have with me here on my shelf. I don't own it physically yet. I'm waiting on it to come out in a paperback, and that is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. That book made me cry. It ripped my heartstrings out. Hello. I was not ready. If y'all don't know, Suzanne Collins is the author of the Hunger Games trilogy, the original trilogy that came out like when I was a kid, and I remember that was just such a time of like reading the books and then going to watch the movies whenever they came out in theaters. It was just crazy, and that series, that little trilogy, is just such a nostalgic read for me. I really would love to do a reread of it here on my channel. I'm trying to decide if I want to do it with spoilers or without spoilers. I think I'm gonna do it with spoilers just because I know so many people have read that trilogy, and just to get my thoughts again over something that's so nostalgic for me, I want to do it so bad. But anyway, Sunrise on the Reaping follows Haymitch's story. If y'all know him, he is already a victor at that point, and he's living in the victor's village, and he mentors Katniss and Peeta. However, Sunrise on the Reaping goes back in time and follows him whenever he first got drawn in the Reaping and went off to fight in his Hunger Games, and it's that story, and oh my gosh, if y'all read the trilogy, y'all know how Haymitch is. We know he's kind of like a questionable character, and honestly, I kind of just looked at him like, what are you doing? I did not understand that there was a reason behind why the way he was, and reading this book and getting to learn about that trauma that he went through and kind of how it developed him into the person that he is in the future. Yo, I literally cried. I literally cried. That book was such a hard read for me. I don't know. I just saw him in a way that I'd never seen him before as a character. I love a character study book, and following what he went through, it really got to me. And you know, once again, to be teleported back into Suzanne Collins' writing, it's just so nostalgic every time. I really did love it. Now, I did give it a 4 stars simply because, I don't know, something about it wasn't as magical as the other trilogy, obviously. And then also The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by her. I enjoyed that that one a lot more for some reason. I don't know why, but that's just how I felt about it personally. It might have just been something with the time I read it. I'm not sure, but those are my thoughts. The next book we've got is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I have found more of a love for this book the more and more I think about it. Back when I originally read it, I think I gave it a 3-star. I thought it was just a solid read, but now the more I think about it, it's just so good. This book follows Persephone. She lives with her family in the city, but every summer they take a summer trip to Barry's Bay, which is like kind of a lake beachy style town up in Canada. She goes by the nickname Percy, and she ends up running into these 2 boys who live next door to her at the beach house. Their names are Sam and Charlie, and this book follows her romance with Sam. They're just so cute. I love the fact that like their romance slowly developed over time as she's visiting over the summers, and it just started out as such like a wholesome friendship and grew into something so much more. The setting on the lake was so nostalgic for me as I grew up on the lake. We probably know this by now, but yeah, honestly, I love Carly Fortune's descriptions of the lake, and this I'm pretty sure was her debut novel, so that's so impressive to me how good this book was. Also the cover, we just talk about that, it's so good. Like, isn't that so beautiful? Wow. But yeah, the little like plot twist thing at the end of the book, I will just say there's certain tropes that I hate, and there's certain tropes that I hate even more, and this was a trope that I despise, okay? I despise this trope. And this book was honestly feeling really solid for me, like up in the high 4 stars until this trope happened, and I was just so sick of it. And then because of that, the ending was a little bit slow and dragged on a bit. I don't know. That's the one thing for me that really threw it off. But otherwise, really solid read, and I would highly recommend it. The next book I read is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. Look at the size of this book. Look at that. And I love that it just like fits up here on my shelf so nicely, like up in that little spot. Like it fits so perfect. But anyway, this is the very last book in the Throne of Glass series. This is my favorite series of all time. To this date, the Throne of Glass series is the best series I've read. Isn't that crazy? I don't even want to try to explain what this series is about, because I just honestly feel like the less you know about it, the more you're gonna love it whenever you go to read it. I went into it completely blind. Like I literally knew nothing about this series at all, other than like I knew there was a castle and it was a fantasy. Yeah, I don't know, but man, this book tore me apart. It was the perfect ending. Everything, well, there were some things that didn't wrap up, and Sarah J. Maas, why not? But I wasn't too bothered about it, just because the people that I actually cared about got just, I don't even know. I love the main character. She's so powerful, and she knows what she wants, and her love interest, he doesn't stand in her way. He is there for her, and normally whenever it's a fantasy book, the main guy is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be the leader. No, he lets her do what she's gotta do, and he is there right by her side. I love them so much. If you're gonna read this series, please start out with Assassin's Blade. It's the prequel, and it happens chronologically first. The plot twist at the ending will literally break your heart, but it will not hit as hard if you read Throne of Glass first, so please read Assassin's Blade first. But yeah, I just loved everything about this book so much. It was perfect to me. I was on my toes. I genuinely enjoyed like every single character. Well, there were some people I wasn't too happy about, but in this book, they kind of all had some redeeming characteristics about them that I appreciated. So I really wish that they filmed me reading this series. Maybe one of these days I'll do a reread of it and get my reactions for you guys. But yeah, Kingdom of Ash, 5 stars, obviously. The next book, guys, is Hunting Adeline by H.G. Carlton, and this is the second book in the Haunting Adeline duology, aka the Cat and Mouse duology. Y'all know I really did actually eat up the first book. However, what the heck was this? It was supposed to be a silly, goofy, fun time. In my head, I was like, oh yeah, like just a fun little dark romance. No, this was more trauma. This was not goofy. It was just trauma. The entire, like, I don't even know, like this much of the book, like in the beginning, was just her trauma, and it was described in such depth. I was not prepared for that. I don't know. There was like no romance until literally like right here. Hello, is this not supposed to be a romance book? Like, yes, there's pining, and he will literally do whatever he can to protect her, but it was just a little bit too traumatic for me. Yeah, I can't really fully explain what this book is about, because it is the second book in the series and I don't want to spoil anything, you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna leave it at that, but just know So this was a severe downturn from the first book in the series, in my opinion. Next up, we've got Confess by Colleen Hoover. I had not read a Colleen Hoover book in the longest time, and me and Tyler were in a bookstore and I saw it. It was a used book for like, what was it, like $5 or something, and I was like, hey, maybe I'll get this one, and he bought it for me, so of course I had to read it. Yeah, it's like in perfect condition too, honestly. Very nice for a used book, I would say. But yeah, I fear it's a typical Colleen Hoover book. I don't know, I used to enjoy these books back whenever I first read them in high school. I have like a nice little Colleen Hoover collection going on down here on my bookshelf, but I don't know what's kind of happened. I guess like the more of them I read, the more I see the similarities between all of them, and the more that I see it's just the same repeat drama over and over again. Her writing's not anything magical, it's just like a quick little fun time, and I feel like it is honestly easy to read. You don't have to think too hard about it at all, which I think is why it has such a large appeal. But yeah, honestly, I feel like the plot twists, there's nothing ever throughout the whole entire book ever that gives you any sign there's gonna be a plot twist. It's just so random every single time. There's no hints to it at all in any of her books, and I've enjoyed it in some, but just some of them I'm like, okay girl, we could have at least tried to hint to it a little bit. That way there's a little bit more shock whenever you first read it. My Vince, bro, it's so loud. Anyway, I'm gonna give you kind of like a little summary of the book. Basically, this book follows Autumn Reed. She just recently moved to Dallas, Texas, and she kind of doesn't have a lot of money, so she's looking for jobs wherever she can get them. And she's walking the streets one day, and she ends up coming across this man who owns his business, and there's a sign on the door that says, like, help, desperate help needed now, immediate action, please. And she's like, okay, so she goes inside, and it's this man who owns this art studio. He needs someone to be like the front desk, like actually selling the art to people for his event he has that night. She's like, okay, I'll help you out just for tonight. He gives her like $100 or whatever for doing it, and it's their romance. I don't know, it just was a lot of drama. Something, like I said, was completely unexpected. I was like, what is this? But overall, I mean, it wasn't terrible. I did enjoy reading it, and it was a quick read, like a little palate cleanser for me, especially after I read some of these like books that I really love and adore. I needed something just to get my mind off of it in a way and get me back into reading before I hit a slump. So for that, I would recommend this book, but otherwise it's Colleen Hoover, I don't know. Next on the chopping block, we've got Cleopatra and Frankenstein by Coca Mellers. Yes, it's on the chopping block for a reason. I did not like this book. 2 stars. I don't know why I didn't. It just threw me off. This book follows the relationship of Cleo and Frank. They live in New York City together, and their relationship is the most unidealistic. It falls apart into shambles, and yeah, they had so much drama, and they brought everyone in their life into their drama. I feel like there's a certain audience that would like this book. It just, however, was not me. It was very much a literary fiction as well as a romance. Justice for their flying squirrel, or whatever that thing was called. A wing glider, I don't know. But that poor thing did not deserve that. Did not. And for that, I literally knocked off a whole star. I was like, what is this? That was the most traumatic thing I've ever read in my life somehow. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone in this book just had problems. Just everyone. We're gonna move on because I don't know. I didn't like it. I don't want to harp on it too much in case that y'all do. Then we read Complete 180. My literal favorite romance book I've ever read, and that is One Golden Summer by Carly Fortune. If y'all know how I feel about this book, this book is everything to me. If you didn't know, it follows the main character Charlie from Every Summer After, the book I talked about previously. It follows him whenever he's older. This is like years after the first book, okay? So Alice is the main FMC. She ends up taking her grandmother to Barry's Bay for the summer because she's having some health issues, and she just kind of wants to get her out of the house and get her to a more happier place out of the city to just not be so in her head about her health problems. And while she's there, she ends up running into Charlie Florek, who is the brother of Sam in the first book, as you remember. But yeah, it's Alice and Sam's romance. Or no, it's Alice and Charlie's romance. There we go. Yeah, it's just, oh my gosh. I don't know what was so different about this one. I think the fact that they're older, I think just did a lot for me. They seemed a bit more mature. Charlie, if y'all watch my reading vlog, y'all know at first I was a little bit like, what the heck is up with this guy? He's so full of himself. He's so arrogant. And he kind of was giving me the ick for like a split little second, okay? But then once you get to the point of the book where you realize what trauma he has in his life, life that causes him to act out like this. Yo, you would literally do a complete 180, or at least that's what happened to me. They literally fit each other so perfectly, him and Alice. It's like the perfect nostalgic summer read. I loved Carly Fortune's descriptions of the lake in the summer. So nostalgic yet again. I just loved everything. It was perfect. I loved it so much. The next book we've got here is Before We Were Strangers by Renee Carlino. This is a second chance romance following these two characters who went to college together in New York City. This whole entire book is basically the miscommunication trope to the extreme, okay? I'm so sorry if you like this book because I did not like this book at all. I fear I gave it like a 2-star once again. Oh yeah, if y'all didn't know, One Golden Summer, 5-star clearly. But anyway, this book right here, you're telling me they went 15 years in today's day and age where there's phone and email and yellow pages online and everything you can do to contact each other, and they somehow didn't get in touch? Hello? Also, the little conflict at the end, the plot twist, I was like, this is so... I could have seen this coming from a mile away. It's like the most obvious thing you would do, in my opinion, in this kind of book. I don't know, maybe I'm giving it too much critique, but for this one part, I'm not, okay? His character was so insufferable. The way he spoke to her, like, this man was so rude. Let me find some of these. I don't even know what he said. He would be like cussing at her and manipulative, and what the heck, like, is he calling her a liar? Yeah, he literally calls her a liar, never apologizes for his actions, like, ever, and then we're just supposed to like move on from it. They also are both just so mature. I don't know, they're so mature. Some of the things that they do, I'm just like, what am I reading? I'm honestly surprised I didn't DNF it. But yeah, what a great end to this video, guys. What a great ending. Yeah. So sorry about that slander, but I'm also not, because what was this? Truly? Stick that back in there. Never be pulled out again. Anyway, guys, I really hope that you guys enjoyed seeing all the books I read this summer. Maybe it was entertaining, maybe it wasn't. Let me know. Let me know some videos you want to see this fall. I'm really excited. And also some books you want me to read this fall. I am in such a fantasy mood, so please recommend me your fantasy reads that you want to see, and I will definitely read them and record my reactions as always. I love y'all so much. Thanks so much for watching. Please, we're so close to 1,000 subscribers. I would love it if you would subscribe. You all mean so much to me. I hope you know that. And yeah, I love you guys so much. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.